Hi everyone, this is the Nordic Venture Show, your guide to the exciting world of Nordic startups and venture capital. In today's episode, we're exploring a startup called Lovable.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're ready for another deep dive. We're tackling AI-powered software development today.
Which is kind of wild when you think about it, right? AI is everywhere these days, but
It totally is. But actually using it to build stuff feels like every other week there's some new tool or framework and
yeah, and trying to keep up with it all, it's almost a full-time job in itself.
no kidding. So we're going to try and break some of that down today, specifically looking at this company, Lovable.
And they're doing some really interesting things. I mean, their whole thing is, get this, building the last piece of software.
The last piece of software.
Oh.
Okay, now that's a bold statement. How?
It definitely grabs your attention, and when you start digging in...
Because I was looking at their team on LinkedIn before we started.
Yeah.
And wow, talk about an all-star lineup.
Seriously, they've got everyone from, serial entrepreneurs to, actual rocket scientists, basically. It's kind of nuts.
Right, and they've got these posts talking about GPT Engineer, their product, and people are going crazy for it, apparently.
Yeah, and it's gotten some serious buzz outside their LinkedIn, too. Wired magazine named them one of Europe's hottest startups.
Wow, okay, so not just hype then. So this GPT Engineer thing, one of their posts was talking about building an entire crypto tracker app.
In 8 minutes.
8 minutes with real-time updates and everything. Is that even possible?
Well, that's what they're claiming. And it gets at this core idea they have, making software development as easy as just, I don't know, talking to someone.
Okay, hold on. So I just tell this GPT Engineer what I want, and it just makes it like magic.
Basically. No more needing to learn all this complex code. It's more like having a conversation with this really, really smart AI.
Well, what does that actually mean, having a conversation with it?
Yeah.
Do I need to brush up on my Python skills or something?
Nah, you can ditch the coding textbooks. Lovable's all about what they call autonomous code generation.
Okay, and what does that actually mean? In English, preferably.
Think of it like this. This AI, it can understand what you mean, like your intent, and then actually build the code itself. They even say it on their website. GPT Engineer is an AI software engineer that actually works.
An AI software engineer that actually works. So like my own personal coding robot, basically.
Pretty much. And that's kind of their whole mission, to give anyone, even if they don't know anything about coding, the ability to build software.
So instead of spending months learning how to code, I could just tell this GPT Engineer what I want,
Right.
and it would just build it for me.
That's the idea. Make software development something anyone can do, not just some elite group of coders.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. Okay, my mind is officially blown. So this autonomous code generation thing, it's like having a superpowered developer on call 24/7, but instead of paying them crazy rates, you just chat with them.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild idea when you really think about it. And from what I've seen on their website, it's not just for simple stuff either.
Really?
Yeah.
So no, just to-do list apps. What are we talking then?
No, they're saying people are using this to build real websites, web apps, all sorts of things. And they even have AI-powered debugging built in.
AI-powered debugging. What does
Yeah.
that even mean? Like it just magically fixes your code for you.
Well, sort of. It's not magic, obviously, but it analyzes your code, finds the errors, and then can even suggest solutions way faster than a human could usually.
Okay, that does sound pretty magical, not gonna lie. No wonder those LinkedIn posts were full of people saying it's like having a senior developer whispering coding secrets in your ear or whatever. But wait, back up a sec. This whole autonomous code generation thing,
Yeah.
how does GPT Engineer even learn to code in the first place? Did they feed it every programming book ever written?
It's a little more complicated than that, though they did train it on a ton of data. Basically, they're using these things called large language models, or LLMs, which are trained on massive amounts of text. So they learn to understand and even generate text that sounds like, a person wrote it.
So it's not just copying code, it's actually understanding the logic behind it, the structure of it.
Exactly. And that's where Lovable's crack team of physicists and AI experts comes in. They're constantly refining the models, making sure the training data is top-notch, really pushing the limits of what these LLMs can do.
So they're basically teaching this AI to think like a programmer. not just parrot-back code it's seen before.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of their team, have you seen the stuff they're saying about like unlocking human creativity? They're really passionate about making this accessible to everyone.
Yeah, and it seems like the people using it are just as excited. Their LinkedIn's full of people calling GPT Engineer a game changer, saying it's like having a superpower.
Yeah, and it's not all talk either, you know. They've got some serious investors backing them up.
For real.
Yeah, we did a little digging and found they just closed a $7.5 million pre-seed funding round.
Wow, that's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Seems like people really believe in this vision of theirs.
They definitely see the potential, but let's step back for a second. Let's say they actually pull this off, building this last piece of software. What does that even mean for the rest of us?
That's the million-dollar question, right? What happens when building an app is as simple as, like, ordering a pizza?
Yeah.
Does everyone just become a developer overnight?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, imagine if anyone, even with zero coding knowledge, could just, I don't know, dream up an idea and then have this AI build it for them.
It's, like, incredibly exciting, but also kind of scary, you know?
Yeah, I get
Like,
that.
what happens to all the actual software developers out there? Do
Yeah.
they just become obsolete?
That's a common worry, for sure. And it makes sense, right? Every time we have some new tech that automates stuff, people worry about their jobs. But if you look back, it's not like whole professions just disappear.
So you're thinking more like a shift in focus than everyone getting replaced by robots.
Right, exactly. So instead of spending all their time writing code, maybe developers become more like, I don't know, the architects of these AI systems. They design them, guide them, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to.
So instead of being replaced by AI, they're kind of elevated by it. Like they level up from code monkeys to AI whisperers or something.
Exactly. Plus, even if everyone's not like coding directly, you're still going to need people who understand how it all works, right? For when things go wrong or to make sure it's being used responsibly.
Right. Like we'd still need, I don't know, mechanics, even if cars started driving themselves.
Exactly. We might not all be coding, but we'd still need these AI specialists making sure it all runs smoothly.
Interesting. But with all this talk about the last piece of software, I got to ask, is anyone pushing back against this? Or people, skeptical?
Oh, absolutely. Every time you have something that could totally shake up an industry like this, there are going to be skeptics. Some people say that real, true autonomous code generation, it's still a long way off.
Like it's still too early to say if it'll really work.
Yeah, and they say that you can't really replace human creativity, problem solving, that kind of thing with machines, at least not yet.
Which, I mean, even with all the crazy AI stuff happening these days, replicating human creativity does seem like a pretty tall order.
Totally.
Right.
And that's a debate that's probably going to rage on for years to come, you know? But whether Lovable actually pulls this off or not, one thing's for sure, they've definitely got people talking and thinking differently about what's possible with AI.
Totally. And that's what it's all about, right? Pushing the boundaries, seeing what we can achieve. And for our listeners who are now, I'm assuming, just as fascinated by this as we are, definitely go check out Lovable's website. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Nordic Venture Show. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more stories of innovation from the Nordics.